'Cause it's just loose lips. I chat better than I sing, so go ahead and enjoy.
So a manager, an agent is solely responsible for getting an artist live shows. So it's just live shows, and then those live shows can be like corporate live shows where you'll do like a Christmas party for someone or something like that, and then we negotiate the fees, blah blah, take a percentage, and then that's that. That's it. That's literally what we do. Management is pretty much everything else. So a manager, some managers deal with like the recording and releasing side of an artist, so which is obviously like music videos and stuff. Then there's like endorsements, advertise, syncing. There's a manager does a lot of stuff, man. The agent, whenever you see a live show, an agent is involved. But when all the other stuff that goes on with an artist, the kind of universe, is all a manager. And the managers are really, really, really important. And a lot of times, managers and agents sort of like battle over stuff.
But would you say that's quite a key relationship as well, because you've got to get through the managers to get to the artist?
Well, yeah, but it's like I mean, so if you signed an artist and you're working with a manager, it's again a lot of agenting is about managing expectations. So it's like you've got to, I don't know, like a manager is expecting X amount of money it thinks an artist is worth X amount of money, but you're, hustling daily knowing that they're not worth that. So you've got to try but then they're expecting that. So you've got to try and bridge the gap and kind of like negotiate them down and the promoter up sort of thing and meeting this middle ground. So it's like, that's kind of the difficulty of it all. And also when you're doing stuff like tours, there's lots of like budgets and stuff. So you've got to like work with, how much the show is going to cost, how much it's going to cost to travel. And then you've got to kind of like weigh that up with how much the ticket value it's worth and how much a promoter is willing to pay. So there's all kind of little aspects you have to think of. But so that's kind of what an agent does. What was the other bit you said? I can't remember, man. I got lost there.
No, the other bit was, so with the hierarchy of somebody who's a bit green.
So there's your big agencies. So you've got these are like William Morris, for example. I think they are massive. They've got offices in like LA, London, or what have you. There's another one called Paradigm, who are really, really big. So these are kind of like big major players. These are the ones that have like your Madonnas and Jay-Z. I know Jay-Z's with Live Nation, but like these kind of like mega artists. So what tends to happen is small like independent agencies like what I work for will kind of find the artists, the newer sort of artists, and then they get to a certain value, and then these bigger agencies will like try and swoop. But what happens at the difference between like an independent agency and a bigger agency are very much like money and numbers and very corporate and very, like targets and like, and they're not really like a tailored sort of service. They don't really think about positioning or like, for example, say Glastonbury offered X amount, but Reading and Leeds offered this amount, but you couldn't play both of them together. So a corporate agency would probably go, well, who's paying the most? Whereas I really like to think, what's actually better for the artist? So what means more, what's nicer, what's a better fit, what helps in the story? So that tends to be the difference between the two. What happens is, a lot of bigger artists get really like disillusioned with like major agencies, and they don't like it, and a lot of them will kind of go there for a little bit, and then they'll come back to an independent and kind of let us do our thing. So, yeah, it's really like there's a lot of kind of bitchy and backstabbing. A lot of people, being loyal 1 second and then secretly having talks with other agencies and like moving over. There's a lot of drama.
There's got to be a lot of loyalty, really, isn't it? That's what it's down to, other than the contracts. But surely if you're helping the relationship along, bringing somebody, as you say, that initial spot in them and then playing from different sizes.
Any industry, man, money talks. It's like basically if you've been with this agency for however long and they've brought you up grassroots, and then they might no, but they might, you might, for example. Well, again, what happens is, so you're going to these festivals and shows, and you might have like a major agent turn up to the show, and basically they just promise you all this stuff. They're like, I can, how much money are you getting? Oh, I can get you more than that. Or like, you should really be playing this festival. I can get you in this festival. I can get you on this tour. It's like, you know, it's standard sort of like in any competitive business, you'll always have those kind of people, and it happens a lot. But there is, luckily with our agency, because what we offer, I think to the artists, yeah, a lot of the artists enjoy working with us and are happy with what we do and our kind of different approach. We don't really suffer with touchwood. We don't really suffer with that much, but it still happens. It happens everywhere, and it tends to be if you've been with an agent for a long time and you need to like freshen it up or whatever, or you get a new manager. Kind of the first thing they do to like freshen it up is get a new agent or something like that. So you're kind of fighting against those wolves a little bit as well. So yeah.
'Cause it's just loose lips. I tried better than I sing, so go ahead and enjoy.